Good evening. How are you all doing tonight? This is Tiffany Crisara here. Welcome to Rise and Shine Again this Easter time. I would love it if you would just do me a favor and put in the chat box that you can hear me, please. I think you can all chat to each other as well. And some of you probably know each other. So it'd be really nice to see you all kind of saying hello to each other and just kind of building the energy a bit and saying a little bit about where you're from. I won't be able to read them all out, but it's just good to actually see where all of you are from. It's like a building of the collective energy. So I have enabled chat box, but nothing seems to be happening at this particular time. I don't know whether you're all waiting for somebody else to go first or whether something's gone wrong with the chat box. Ah, thank you, Camilla. We have liftoff. Okay, so hey, great. Thank you, Fozia, and thank you, Charlotte. So it's nice to see you all here. Thank you very much for joining me. I will let you know a little bit about what we're doing tonight. We're doing quite a lot tonight and why we're doing it tonight. And also just a little bit about who I am for those of you who are new tonight. So, why are we doing Rise and Shine Again this Easter time? Well, 3 years ago, some really strong astrological patterns started kicking in for us. And it's only really now that it's started to calm down. So I wonder how your last 3 years have been. And we will be doing a little bit of reflection. So if you have a pen and a paper, journal, diaries to hand, fantastic, but don't worry if you don't. The only reason we're doing a little bit of reflection is to actually prep your subconscious for what is coming next. So your subconscious actually knows, even if your conscious doesn't. So your conscious is like a program on a computer, and your subconscious is the hard drive. So everything gets downloaded to the hard drive. So it's, yeah, we're doing a little bit of prepping, a little bit of kind of getting the conscious in gear to be thinking a little bit about what your story has been for the last 3 years. But it doesn't really need that amount of effort. It's just for your conscious mind to make sense of it, in a sense. Okay, so yeah, I've put these questions out already. I think some of you have had them and some of you haven't, but there will be a replay. So I'm not going to be spending long on these questions. It's just going to be little prompts, and you'll probably be like, oh gosh, I wish she'd slow down, but that's all your subconscious needs, okay? And then we will go into doing a past life journey, which is very exciting. We're only going to do a little taster, but again, that's all you need. And it'll be whatever is right for you right now. I've been working with past life for the last 7 or 8 years. And whether we program to go back to find a certain situation or whether we leave it general, I tend to just leave it general now, because the subconscious really does know what is best for us. If you think about it, the subconscious regulates our temperature. So we don't think like we've got to turn it down a notch, or we don't think we have to breathe. It's all done for us. So it's the same kind of thing. Although if you've never done it before, you might be thinking, oh God, is this just my imagination? Which is correct. It is just your imagination. But imagination is the bridge between the subconscious and the conscious mind. So even the dictionary says that it's the bridge and the filter for the information to come from the subconscious mind. In fact, imagination is the most powerful gift in the universe. Nothing came into being without imagination. And if you think about it, it's even stronger than the will. So, for instance, if I say to you, don't think of the color pink, You get it, yeah? You're thinking of the color pink. So it is incredibly strong power, and it's one that we just put down so much, which is such a shame. Like, this computer wouldn't be here if it wasn't for imagination. I wouldn't be able to connect with you if it wasn't for that. Nothing would exist. So what I would ask you to do tonight is just to humor me a little bit. And if it's all made up, if it's all fun, basically I tend to say, what does it matter if it works? If you get something out of this at the end of it, which is like tying up the last 3 years for you and helping you to see why things happened the way they did and why you are at the place that you are now and how to make the best of that to move you forward to the best possible life that you can have, then that's all that matters to me, really. It doesn't really matter how we get there. It just matters that you get there. Okay. And then after that, we will be doing a little question and answer session. But before that, we'll be doing a reading, a general reading on the month ahead. And after that, you will be able to send some questions in if that's what you so wish to do. So I'm so excited because we've got lots and lots to fit in. I will say a little bit about who I am, just in case you don't know. My name is Tiffany Crisara. I was brought up in a, I guess you could say, a very open-minded background. I came across tarot when I was 4 years old, and it was like seeing an old forgotten friend, like the Star and the Magician. They were lying on my mum's lounge floor, and it was the 70s, and she had this really great colourful 70s deck. It was purple and it was lime green, and it just really stood out, and it made a huge impact on me. But I didn't see them again until I was a teenager. And when I saw them lying discarded like a forgotten lover on my mother's bed, and I thought, no, they're coming to mine. So I took them, and the love affair started there. And it was a very intense love affair. It was probably the first time that I ever really started to learn about relationship. And gosh, it was such a deep, intense relationship because it's the deepest, intense mirror that you can ever have. And I was a typical teenager, you know, I was full of darkness. I hadn't had it easy as a child. And I became quite obsessed with the tarot. I wanted it to tell me that everything was going to be okay, and it never did, because it's a mirror, and for something to change, I had to change. So it became very difficult for me to actually live a normal life, in a sense, and had many psychic experiences growing up, which I won't go into tonight, but it really wasn't a normal childhood. So anyway, the love affair with the tarot continued until I was pregnant when I was 20, and I saw in the tarot that I was going to lose the child. And not knowing how to work with the tarot still, even though I'd worked with it for 6 years, I've been working with it without respect, trying to manipulate it, trying to control it, trying to just get it to give me the answers that I wanted. So when that came up, I thought, right, that's it. I'm never going to speak to you again. And I threw them away in a cupboard. It's interesting, I didn't put them in a bin, but it was like a naughty child I'd locked in a cupboard. And I was like, I don't ever want to even think that I've seen that. So I blocked it out of my mind. I didn't tell anybody. And then when my daughter was 4 months old, she passed over. And I started to tell people what I had seen. And instead of them saying, well, don't do that again, will you? They started saying, would you read for me? And I started thinking, oh, goodness me, I'm not sure about this reading lark. And then I thought, well, with everything I've been through with the tarot, maybe there is something that I'm supposed to do here. Maybe I'm supposed to learn how to work with it to empower people. And I went on a course, and that was the best course I'd ever done. And it taught me how it is a mirror. for us to see the patterns of where we are. And when we see the patterns of where we are, then we can start to change. Then we can start to work towards transformation. So that's when my journey really went into transformation, which is interesting, isn't it? Because when most people come to the tarot, they think it's about prediction. And it only predicts because we are predictive people. That's the only reason it predicts. So I'm very strong on transformation first and foremost. Hence, my book, The Transformational Truth of Tarot, came out in 2012. And my second book comes out this year, which is The Transformational Truth of You. Because really, that's what it's about. It's all about you. Like I said, it's not really about what you use to get there. It's just about you. Are you living your full potential? Do you feel supported in your life by yourself in order to be the best that you can possibly be? And in order to do that, we kind of need to make sense of the things that are going on around us, or at least I do. It's much easier to move on from something, to understand yourself, your path, if you can really kind of go, aha, yeah, okay, I understand that. I understand why that happened. And that is what we're doing tonight on this webinar. Okay, so it's nice to see that there is some comments coming up. It's lovely to see some things here. Some people are having some problems. I will say that it's not good on iPad or iPhone, so it's better on laptop or computer. And if you are having problems, just try reloading. That's the only things I can really suggest. There will be a replay as well. Okay, so we shall begin. And to begin, I will start with a screen share presentation. So bear with me a moment. Okay, so I hope you guys can see this okay. Please let me know if you can. And it should say Step to Success 1. I'm going to read it fully just in case you can't see it. Okay, so the first step in order for anything to be successful is to be able to understand it, like we were saying earlier. Time, space, and reflection is key to understanding. There has been a bit of a big astrological chapter going on for the last 3 years. So in our first exercise tonight, we will be looking at certain key astrological turning points that happened over that time period. Okay, so let's just move on. So some of you are saying that you can't see it yet. Can anybody see it? I can't see it in Oxford. Thank you, Charlotte. Let me just double check. I think I'm screen sharing, but I might be screen sharing the wrong thing. So let me try again, because it seems like none of you can see that. Sorry about that. We'll try again. Yeah, Hall of Mirrors, absolutely. I hear you. Okay, here we go. This should be liftoff. So let me know if you can see that now, please, guys. No, not showing here either. I'm hoping that this is a delay. These are delayed comments still coming through. I am hoping. Okay, so now third time lucky, please, hopefully. We should be on the second step to success. Yeah, thanks Camilla for letting me know. Okay, so the second step to success is working out how to screen share. Okay, excellent. Woo! And then we can honor where we're at. So once we've understood the past, which is the first step to success, we can start to honor where we are in the present. Now, I've chosen the word honor instead of accept because accept can be mistaken for resignation. Okay, honor, however, means seeing the sacred gift in the present, which will have come from understanding the past, which is what the last bit of this slide also says, and says that we'll be doing that via a past life journey. Are you excited? I am. So third step to success is being able to open to the future once you have understood the past and you can clearly see yourself in the present. Whew. So to do this, the last section will be my Astro Tarot channel section. That's where I give the general reading, guys. Some of you know it and some of you don't know it. This is where I give a general reading, yeah, and you can send in any questions you may have. Okay, so let's have a look then at these astrological things that I'm talking about. I'm not going to go too deeply into it. Like I said, it doesn't matter how we get there. It just matters where we are. Sorry, Lisa, who's saying she's going to have to sign off. And somebody's saying, can I repeat with slide 1? I'm not going to go back through the slides, but slide 1 was just saying the need to understand the past. Okay, so step 1 of success is the need to understand the past, which is what we're going into now with the astrology. And we'll be doing a past life regression as well. Step 2 is to honor the present. That's part of the past life regression because what comes out of there and the astrology is the key to the present story. And then step 3 is to open to the future. Okay, you'll have it on a replay anyway, Charlotte. Okay, so who or what arrived or was a strong presence in your life in June 2012? Now I'm testing your memory bank, aren't I? So we want to go back about 3.5 years ago. Is that right? Something like that. I'm testing my own grey matter here. Now, why June 2012? There was a very strong month in June 2012. We had the Venus transit, which meant that Venus looked like it was going retrograde. Retrograde means backwards. Planets don't actually go backwards. They just appear to from where we are. Now, this meant that it was bringing people back into our lives from past lives. So did you meet anybody in June 2012 that had a big effect on your life? It was also a month where we had an eclipse, and it was also a month where we had our first alignment of the Cardinal Grand Cross. So eclipses are big turning points. And the Cardinal Grand Cross was a series of planets that were kind of ganging up on each other. They were in a cross alignment, so they were across from each other. And it causes a mass tension. It's like a massive cross through the universe. So there's this real charged energy of June 2012 there. 6 months later, we had the next eclipse and the Grand Cross. Again, another kind of gathering of these planets at these 4 points. So there should have been a turning point to that story 6 months later. Venus would have been going direct by then. I think the Venus transit only lasted, I think, through May and June 2012, but it had done its job. It had brought people in. Okay, and I know that it's tough to remember, and like I said earlier, don't worry if you can't remember it. These questions are prompting your subconscious anyway. Your conscious doesn't necessarily need to know. So then the next chapters to those stories are below here. April and May 2013, which again, another eclipse and another Grand Cross alignment. So these planets in the Grand Cross, they were kind of moving slightly out of the Grand Cross formation and then moving back with these retrograde motions. So the tension was like, the tension for the last 3 years has been like, oh, what's the word? Accordion, you know, where they kind of, it's coming in and it's going out and it's coming in and it's going out. But there's always this sense of something there that is causing some type of pressure. Okay, so then it would have changed again, October, November, December 2013. Again, an eclipse, and again, we've got this accordion kind of pressure coming strong in with the Cardinal Grand Cross. And then again in April and May 2014, and then again in October, November, December 2014. And last but not least, last week. Now, why last week? Because last week we had an eclipse. It was the biggest eclipse that we have had for 16 years. Yeah, does anybody remember the eclipse of 1999 when everything went dark? Well, that actually happened on my birthday, and I got my astrology done a few years later, and the astrologer said to me, oh, wow, that happened on your birthday. Congratulations, something big started for you then. Not that it felt like, it probably didn't feel like it at the time. And it didn't feel like it at the time. My daughter had just passed. I think it was about 1.5 years since she'd passed. I just kind of split up from my husband, and I'd also just lost my father figure. So it was a real dark time, just like the darkness that was cast across the land. But it put me on the path of transformation. So yes, he was right. Something massive did get seeded for me then. So basically what you have here is almost just as big time we had last week. It wasn't as strong as 1999, but it was the strongest eclipse we have had in 16 years. And not only that, but the eclipse was on the last degree of Pisces, and Pisces is the sign that likes to escape reality. It wants to merge with the Godhead. It's all about getting that enlightenment. It's all that last leg of the journey. The last degree of Pisces in the zodiac is basically the last degree of the journey. So it was massive on that front, plus the fact that it was the last alignment of the Grand Cross. Couple of days before or after, I think a couple of days before, on the 17th, and we had the eclipse on the 19th, if I remember correctly. So it was a massive ending point that we had last week. And that is why we're doing it basically now, you know. Last April, last Easter, we also had an exact Grand Cross at that time. And for me, I don't know what your life was like last Easter, but for me, it was quite shocking. I have to say there was a lot of shocks and a lot of tears and a lot of, just real unexpected violent stuff, really, really very shocking stuff. And also when the Cardinal Grand Cross was exact over Easter last April, a man got killed in Italy by a statue of a cardinal falling on top of him. Yes, a statue of Pope someone or other actually fell on top of a man on the day that the Cardinal Grand Cross was in alignment. So sometimes these can be quite literal. Sometimes we can forget that and we can try to look too deep. So with any of this, what I would ask you to do tonight is really not to try, you know, it's just, oh, okay, yeah, there's these points. You'll have these points in the replay, so you can always come back to them. But what I would like you to do tonight is just to relax and take it easy. Okay. So we shall, oh, one more thing. We've also got a lunar eclipse, because eclipses come in cycles. There's 2 in each month. And that one is on Saturday. Interesting, isn't it? Because we have Good Friday, and then we've got the eclipse, and then we've got Easter Sunday, which is all about rising again, as is everything that's going on astrologically. So that's why we have the title Rise and Shine Again this Easter time. Okay. So I can see that lots of people are putting comments, which is lovely to see. I won't be able to read them all out because I will get distracted myself. But yeah, I also don't know whether you want to be anonymous or not. So I'm not going to say your names just in case you do want to be anonymous, but please do put anonymous if you do. I think there's a way that you can message me privately if you don't want people to see. So someone has said definitely violent. 10 kids beat up my 10-year-old in a school playground. I'm so sorry to hear that. That's really awful. It sent me scatty and energized. Someone else says definitely felt the eclipse. Huge relief once over. Yeah, I really felt that too. Much, much lighter. And someone else says twin flame or shadow flame, 11/11 matching dates. We met in June the 4th, 2012. Snap. Okay, turned me inside out. Synchronistic, scary, had to run, but push and pull too strong. Finally got away after 6 months, but breaking inside. He didn't want to let go, but he was cruel too. Wow. Okay, so that would be interesting to see what comes up for you tonight. Thank you for your comments. Let's move on. I think what we're doing next is the past life. So I am just going to come out of screen sharing. Hi. Okay, so are you ready? We're going to get into a little bit of a comfy, relaxed space now, so you can let go of all that trying to make logical sense out of astrological stuff, okay? And really just be with wherever you are right now and close your eyes. And take a nice deep breath in. And as you breathe out, just release the day from your shoulders like an overcoat just falling to the floor. And just allow yourself to concentrate on your breath. Give yourself permission to really bring your energy back to you. Just feel out anywhere, any situation, or any person that might have your energy, little bits and pieces of it, and just breathe it back into your energy field and feel yourself becoming whole. You may need to do this a few times for different people and situations. And just see the word relax. See the word relax on the screen of your mind. Or just intend it's there. and either see or intend that that word relax dissolves into tiny droplets of warm, relaxing fluid running down your temples, running down your jaw, running down your neck and your shoulders, releasing and relaxing any tension from your temples, your jaw, your neck, your shoulders, running down your chest and your arms, feeling heavy and relaxed. Just enjoy that feeling of expansion, heaviness, and allow yourself to relax deeper and deeper. Running down through your torso, spreading out the warmth through your core, relaxing as those beautiful droplets run down the back of your spine, run down through your hips, run down through your legs, relaxing and releasing. Running down through your ankles and out through your feet, leaving the whole of you from head to toe beautifully calm and relaxed. And on the screen of your mind, just imagine or intend that you're walking on some thick, moist grass. And it's a grass clearing of which there is oak grove all the way around the outside, and a gap of the trees right in front of you. And just say to yourself, by the power of 3 times 3, I call my spirit guide to me. And just watch what happens in this clearing. Maybe all you see is a ball of light, or maybe you see a fully blown figure. And again, by the power of 3 times 3, I call my spirit guide to me. And feel that energy come closer to you now. If you get a ball of light, maybe you can see the color. Maybe you can determine the sex or the clothes that they are wearing. And for the final time, by the power of 3 times 3, I call my spirit guide to me. And just welcome the highest vibratory guide you can possibly work with right now, just by stating that into your aura. And just feel the beautiful connection of love that comes with being connected to a high vibratory spirit guide. If you need something higher, just visualize or intend that you're breathing in and out white light, and that will bring you a higher spirit guide once you call on them, once you feel that you've been in that light state for a while. Now this guide is going to be with you as we go through back into one of your past lives, the one that will help you to make sense of everything that's happened since June 2012, or everything that you need to make sense of what's happened since 2012. So just feel that beautiful connection and know that you are safe as your spirit guide leads you through the clearing that they appeared. And you're walking over a forest wooded path, feeling the old gnarled roots beneath your feet as they start to turn into stairs leading downwards. And we will count down from 10 to 1. And with each count, you will feel more and more relaxed. 10, 9, going down the stairs. 8, 7, and with each step you feel more and more relaxed. 6, 5, 4, feeling deeply relaxed. 3, 2, 1. And at the bottom of these stairs with your guide, you see a pathway with an infinite row of doors down either side. And you just feel yourself floating down the pathway with your guide, past all the doors, slowly at first, but gathering up speed as we go through the 90s, back through the 80s, the 70s, the 60s, the 50s, the 40s, the 30s, the 20s, so on, until you get to a door right in front of you that you can't move on from anymore. Just appears in front of you. And if you can't see it, you will see it after 3. 1, 2, 3. So just take a good look at this door and then step through with your guide to the other side and look down at your feet. What do you have on your feet? Maybe you don't have anything on your feet. And as you go up your body, what does it feel like to be in this body? What are you wearing? Is there any special emblems or jewelry? So, are you a woman, a man, a girl, or a boy? Do you feel like? How old do you feel? Do you feel happy or anxious or nervous? If you feel anxious or nervous, just remember the white light and the guide. And just remember to watch this as if you're at the cinema. It's a movie that you've seen before, that you've lived through. How old do you feel? And if somebody put a mirror up to you, what would you look like? And look back down at the floor. What is it that you are stood on? Are you inside or outside? Is it day or night? What's the weather or the seasons like? What country? Just let it pop into your head. Don't search for the answer if it's not there. It's okay. And there's no need to try and make sure that it's right or make sense of anything right now. It's just an exercise in noticing. So just hear somebody call your name. Just go to them and see who they are. And what their relationship to you is. Do you have family? And what's your home like? Just see yourself there. And what do you do for a living? And now, after 3, going to go to the most important time in that lifetime that's relevant for what you need to know today with your guide. 1, 2, 3. And just listen for any messages that you're getting from your guide about why you're being shown this. And just find the scene fading, and you find yourself reversing back through the doorway that you came in and up through the stairs back into the oak grove. As your guide just lies you down on soft grass and starts to give you healing. There may be some cords to what you just saw that need dissolving. And there can be apprehension to dissolving the cords. But just know that any cords that are being dissolved are only cords that are keeping things stuck. It's not that they are going to be a case of dissolving that soul connection from your life. Maybe they've already gone in this lifetime, but in the universal sense, this won't be the only life you had with them, just like that wasn't. And we need to evolve. We don't want to be repeating our karma. We want to be learning the lessons and moving forward. So just allow that healing and allow your guide to dissolve any cords that are keeping you stuck in difficult karmic patterns and situations. Now just dissolve it with the power of white light. So you can help that as well if you like. You can feel for where those cords are and just visualize or intend that they are being dissolved with white light. So I'm going to go quiet now for a couple of minutes just to really allow this process to take place. Once the cords have been dissolved, your guide will ramp up the white light and send it to you and the situation you were attached to, or the person that you were attached to, on that lower vibration, just to really clear any chance of reconnecting in the same lower self karmic dynamic. So just allow yourself to vibrate at a higher frequency of white light, like you're turning up a dimmer switch. Just send out the love. Just know that everything that happens, believe it or not, is here for us to evolve. It's here for our highest good. Forgive yourself, forgive others, and forgive things that didn't go to our plan now. And just have a moment with your guide in whatever way seems natural, just to give your thanks. And just wrap yourself down, just feel the new energy in your cells. Just breathe in lots of light, buzzy energy into your cells and just welcome in the newness of where you are, the newness of your energy, the new, fresh, clean slate. Have a little stretch or move, whatever way your body wants you to. Oh, and I'd love to see some comments in the comment box about how that was for you. Grab yourself some water, put some comments in the comment box, and then we'll move on to the third part, which is the general reading for the month and the questions. So there's already some questions here. Okay, so there seems to be some conversation going on that seems private, but it's basically seems to be talking that, yeah, it's kind of backing up what we've been saying. And Sonia says she's really hot. Sonia, if you would like to breathe down through your body, you might know this trick, but it's from Reiki. Well, that's where I learned it. It's just to discharge the discharge the energy. So you just breathe and just intend that you're releasing the energy down through your body, out through your feet. Or you might just want to get a glass of cold water or a cold flannel. That should do it. I'm a little bit chilly myself. Okay, someone's saying, wow. That's private, so I'm not saying their name. Melanie says that was great. Went very deep and went to a door I've never been to before. Awesome. Okay, any more comments? Be good to see. Or questions, is there anything that brought up for you that you need some help with? Would be good to know. I'm just going to take a drink of water and I've got some comments coming in now. So Charlotte says, wow, straight back to medieval monk in a scriptorium. Wow. Well, I wasn't good enough, okay, to do the illustrated stuff. But while that gets the attention, it's the text that the main important stuff. So in my current life, I am good enough to be seen. Woohoo! Excellent, Charlotte. I'm so glad that you've got that message for yourself already about how to honor yourself, the learning from the past, and honor the present and open to the future. Is that about being a writer for you? And how does that fit in for you since 2012? You don't necessarily need to tell me. I'm just prompting you with those questions just so you get the full kind of picture for yourself. Okay. Okay. So Rini says, very powerful, thank you. I was a more glamorous version of my current self and went into the future. Wow. My learning from this is that I've lessons learned to take forward. Okay. That's fab. Right. Someone's put private here, so I'm not going to read that out. But they're saying that they're feeling really cleansed, which is great. Someone's saying they travelled astrally. Well, it looks like you're back if you put something in the comments box. Great. This one says it's anonymous, and they were a gentleman who wore a toga, had a beard, and wore a gold type of crown, stood on a large rock. Very visual. That's great. And have you managed to work out why and what that's got to do with your last 3 years? Don't worry if you haven't right now. Even though we closed the door and we finished the past life journey, it's set an intention. So they say, like, once you've closed the door, that we close the door so that nothing really leaks through. That's what we're taught, but in my own experience, it doesn't really work that way. It's more like you've started the process, you've set the seed, you've set the intention. Things may well happen over the next few days. It may well be dreams or synchronicities that happen that give you more information anyway. So the key with all of this thing is never to try and make more of what you've got, because then you'll be getting it wrong. It's just about being able to notice what you've got. And sometimes that's hard because it's like you've got this puzzle in front of you and there's all these pieces and you can put some together, but it's like you're not allowed to put the rest together. You just have to sit there and wait until the universe decides it's time. It can be very frustrating if you're a bit of a control freak. Speaking myself personally, it's definitely a lesson I've had to learn, and I forget about a lot. I don't know if anyone of you saw my Facebook post, but something happened quite strong last night and I was going to post it at 1:11. I just decided I'm going to post this at 1:11 in the morning because it was linked to what happened. And I lost my phone and I only am in the studio. It's not hard, you know, to kind of find a phone in the studio unless you're a clutter bug, but I've managed to keep it relatively clutter free. And yeah, I couldn't find it. I went to bed and without my phone, I thought, no, it's fine, I'll wake up. But I couldn't sleep. And then I got up. It was very windy and I'm in a loft. So it was like Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz kind of thing. So I got up to get a drink and came back and found my phone on my bed. And the time was 1:11. And that just told me that it wasn't right for me to post it at 1:11 last night, and that I'm not in charge of the timing. The universe is in charge of the timing. And actually, a second part of that story happened this morning before I posted it on Facebook, and it's been an amazing story. So if you're not connected on Facebook, connect with me, send me a friend request and check out the post that I did this morning with the 2 photos. There's a spirit in a tree and everything, which is all part of the story. But I'm going off on a tangent and I'm coming back to you guys now because we've got some comments coming in. Wow, lots of comments coming in. Okay. Loads. Right. Okay, I'll try and read them out. I'm just thinking of the time. So I'm going to spend maybe the next 5 minutes on the comments because we will need to move swiftly on for the reading and for the question and answers. But thank you so much. It's great to see that you're back, at least, because you're typing in the comment box. So that's a good sign. Okay, let's have a look. So where are we? Soraya got 1753 as a 23-year-old. Okay. Antoinette, find it hard to relax, couldn't do visualization, but kept seeing a symbol I've seen before. Didn't feel connection with guide, but that symbol kept returning. That's absolutely fine. You get what you get. And so all you were meant to get was the symbol. Like I said, with everything here, it's not about trying, it's just accepting what you've got. So that would be interesting. I guess the best thing is to draw it and research it on Google and see what you get. It'd be lovely to know what you get, Antoinette. That would be fab. Okay. Rini said she did travel to the past, but found herself in a very futuristic setting with a timeless guide, brother and friend in spirit. Awesome. Very special, that sounds. Camilla went straight to a lifetime in Victorian London, derailed from life plan and ended up living on the street as a prostitute. The scene I was shown was being beaten to death by 3 customers that I had stolen money from. Wow. Are you okay, Camilla? Can you just let me know, please, if you feel all right, if you were able to just see that as a movie? I'd like to know. Thank you. Melanie was in Greece and quite vulnerable. Felt like it was showing her how to be strong. I have become so no longer need to be repeating certain relationships. Fab that you got that from that. That's brilliant. You've really got that message there about not repeating certain relationships. And Camilla, I wonder what the message is for you in that life. Did you get that? Amy was in China, seems like was a queen, worried about a battle. Then the guide showed me a stream collecting water at a younger age, meeting someone I know I fell in love with, but knew it was not allowed and it was a tragedy. I laid back down in the forest, and with my light, I cut away the life like a bubble floating off. Whoa, okay. Again, Amy, I'd like to know you're okay, and if you have a message about what that was about for you now in the present, that would be good to know. So another one says private, so I am not going to read that out just in case that's what it's meaning when it says private. I'm just if anything comes through as private, I'm not going to read it out. I'm just going to note thank you for sharing with me, and if you say anon, then I will read it out, but I won't read your name out. But you will need to put anon as the very first thing, because otherwise I'll read it out and then I'll see the anon. Okay. Sonia says, what if you can't remember it all? Well, you only remember what you're supposed to remember. So whether that's a part of it or all of it. So sometimes people do a past life and they don't remember anything, or sometimes nothing even happens. It may be that the conscious just is afraid, it's not relaxed enough. And, you know, those things could really happen tonight, because usually in past life regression, it takes a good 20 minutes to half an hour to really get somebody in trance. So what we did was a very short, light trance state. So there's that. But if you were really ready to see something, you would. Like, you could even have it spontaneously. Like, I've had a spontaneous past life regression before, and that's a really interesting story and a whole nother webinar. But that's what got me trained in it. I didn't actually believe in past lives. I believed in the spirit world. I believed in soul evolution. But the missing link for me was past lives. And then I had a spontaneous one, and it basically went into a magazine because I got the names, I got the dates, I got the addresses, and looked it all up on Google, and it was all correct. And it was like, oh, okay, I believe. And that's what led me to actually train in what is a fascinating and really strongly healing tool. So yes, tarot is my love, but with tarot you're telling people, and you know, us people, we don't like to be told. But when you're doing a past life, you're experiencing that for yourself. And we tend to learn through experience. So it tends to be more transformative on that level. It's just the ability to trust yourself, not judge yourself, or not try to make hard work of it. That is the hardest challenge with past life stuff. It's about accepting whatever does or doesn't happen at that time. Maybe you just weren't right now meant to see a life, but still the fact that you've kind of come here on a webinar tonight about it shows that there is some preparation going on, but it might just be that you need a little bit of a slower introduction to it. I hope that makes sense. It was a really good question. Thank you for asking. Okay, let's see. Okay, so Camilla was saying feeling completely broken and like a failure because I didn't complete my life plan. I didn't see the 3 men in my current life nor any cords to them. Good. I tried forgiving them. Is that good enough? Well, we're working with intention. It's interesting that you say you tried forgiving them. I think if that's the case, the Ho'oponopono, I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, Ho'oponopono prayer, the Hawaiian prayer, which is something like, thank you, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, is a good thing to repeat. But there's also this thing here of like just having an intention to forgive someone. If you can't actually really truthfully find it in your heart, you can say, I intend to forgive you. Because forgiveness is just about setting ourselves free, right? So by doing that, we're just releasing everything. But you're saying that you don't have any cords there. So that sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty clear. Okay. Joe says, was a child, was well-traveled, living somewhere exotic with mum, telling me why I had such a pull to go travel. Okay, so you're a little traveler there, Joe. Couldn't feel connection to guide, couldn't visualize, had a feeling of being young, but probably wishful thinking. But symbol I've seen somewhere before kept appearing, but that's about it. Probably not relaxed enough. It is what it is, Antoinette. And I would say that if you had a feeling of being young, trust it. It sounds like there's a lot of energy going on up here. And it's like, okay, it is just what it is. So yeah, just go with the feeling of being young and go with the symbol. That's all that's wanted to really come through at this moment. So yeah, maybe you're not relaxed enough, but like I was saying, if it was really ready, you wouldn't even need to do this process. If it was really, really ready, it would be there really easily. So they give you what you need at any time. When I say they, I mean the guides, the universe, the subconscious. It's all the same, really. It's just woo-woo words or factual words. So let's just say it as the subconscious. Remember, it regulates our breathing, it regulates our temperature, it regulates what to give us at any given moment. Okay. It's an illusion that we are in control. Okay, so Pippa says, scenario exactly relates to the conclusions I got from my revelations from working through questions 2012 to now. Yeah, fab. Revealed stuff that's been holding me back massively. Good to know where that stuff came in from. Fabulous. Hopefully that makes a lot of sense and helps you to become a lot more. Okay, so there is so many questions and I really need to get on with things. So if you are there thinking, oh, I want to kind of chip in now, please do not chip in now on this section. I'm closing this section of the questions with the past life because I don't want to kind of just be skipping over everybody or ignoring you. Okay, so Carolyn says, that's amazing. Went to a period around the time of the Musketeers in France and seemed to be a young boy of 16 or 17. Father was calling to get in a carriage, but when we were asked to go to the most important period of that life, I was with some kind of young goose girl who seemed very important to me, but as my current self, I couldn't work out why I was there. The message from the guide seemed to be that she broke your heart, but I couldn't work out what that had to do with the last 3 years. Okay, the healing session after was very, very powerful, though, and full of white light and crystal light. Lovely. And, you know, maybe that piece of the puzzle will come in time rather than now, Carolyn. So, yeah, it's just about being with it. Louise says, really enjoyed that. I always seem to flash into 2 different lives or stages within the same life at the same time. Feel really refreshed. Great. Did I say energy tags were removed? If you mean cords, yeah, that was part of the work we did, was releasing any karmic cords that no longer served us from it. Camilla says she's okay. She says that she wrote a question. Sorry, the only question I can say is that good enough? It is what it is. I don't know if you wrote another one. It's very hard to kind of be scrolling back through all these comments. So please do, I know I've said stop with the questions, but Camilla only, if you wrote something else that was a question I've skipped, please do put it in. Fozia says, was in Egypt, a man named Francis, wasn't Egyptian, but I was bullied and strangled to death. Wow. Didn't speak up or protect myself, let them beat me. You okay? And what does it mean for you, Fozia? Obviously, I'm closing the comments. You can just let me know that you're okay. Jenny went completely under, feel a bit disappointed in that, but came to and was definitely able to do the forgiveness part for myself and my parents. My throat feels a little clearer. Sounds like you got the healing, Jenny, which is the most important part. Understand the kind of feeling like, oh, damn, I missed that. But it is what it is. It sounds like there was some deep work going on there, so I wouldn't worry. Okay. Julia says, I kept seeing the images ahead of your prompts. Yes. Does this mean my head was making it all up? No. How could you possibly know what I was going to say next? That happens a lot in past life regression or any kind of deep meditations that are guided when you're really in the flow with something. Okay. Also killed in a dream, stabbed on horseback in battle somewhere in desert. It was my fault, though. I was being overly confident and aggressive. Almost the most worrying aspect was my horse also died, and that was my fault too. Okay, so there's a lot here about fault in that. And the more you do past life, the more you realize that there is no such thing as fault. Everything appears like it's a fault of ours, but actually it's all a learning and a journey. You really do see that. You really start to see there's no place for guilt. There's no place for judgment. It really is all part of a divine plan, really. So I would release that feeling of fault, but think about what the message is for you in that and the last 3 years, why things have been the way they are and how that fits into that. That's how to work with it for the healing and the forward motion. Helen says, me too with the spontaneous past life regression, which was incredibly detailed, and I was also able to confirm the details. She was executed for witchcraft in 1696. Wow. I've got a few tingles going down there. So this one's a non and says, I was dressed as a woman in green clogs, Holland. Think transvestite. Think was working theatre. Not sure if gay too. Then a house with a dad who not accepted the lifestyle. Wow. Horse, I was in a different think that to do with freedom and next free spirit in this life. Not sure. Theatre, maybe creative something. Okay, maybe. Again, it is what it is. And just you can ask spirit, you can ask before you go to bed tonight, you know, to dream of any more information that's needed, and just set your intention for the information that you don't have and just be open to it. Don't force for it, but just set the intention and relax and be open. It'll come when you least expect it, like these things always do. Hello, Karen, who's just arrived in from Northumberland. Oh, that's nice that you're saying hello. Okay. So the symbol is Aquila, the emblem of the Holy Roman Empire. Wow. This is Antoinette who had a symbol, guys. When you said what country are you in, Germany came straight up. Okay, so you did get more. Okay, and when I looked at my feet, they were on bare flagstones, but I did dismiss it as my imagination. Yep. I felt cold under my feet, but the emblem was surrounded by flames. Wow. So it sounds like there was you were, I take it that means you might have been part of the Roman Empire. Is that what you're getting from that? I'm glad to hear that you've got some validation there. And that's brilliant. Okay, so Camilla says that was the question. You've answered it. Thank you. And I like that question. What I like the other question. What was the message for you from that life? Absolutely, guys. That's really what we've done it for. What is the message for you from doing that life? That's the important thing. We're not just taking a trip down memory lane. We're curious beings, I know, but it's not really going to get us far. Okay, and they're seeing some answers now, which is great. And Amy says, I have a guy that seems perfect for me. If it wasn't for the battle that came with it, I wouldn't say forbidden, but would be hard to be together. I let go like a bubble because even in all the factors, the love is so light and will float back. How lovely. He heals me, and I believe people come into our life for a reason, and I can no longer ignore that. Thanks, Tiffany. That's lovely. Thank you, Amy. Okay. Subhasha, what an amazing name. So wonderful to see Meet a Young teacher assisting us all to young. Thank you. Assisting us all towards awareness. Great work, Tiffany. Relaxation process a little too long for me. Returned to a lifetime I already knew about. A slave master in Charleston, South Carolina. Dislikes the job. Spent free time with Native Americans, where I learned what life was about. Shubasha, am I saying your name right? 68 in the forests of Sweden. Thank you very much for your lovely message. Well, I hope that you are able to kind of get little glimpses of why you were shown that today, how that fits in with those turning points that you'll see on the replay of the last 3 years, and what that means for who you are now, what to leave behind after we did the cord cutting, and what you're giving yourself permission to open up to be now. What is it really for you now? It's a very, very, very strong transformationary time, if that's a word. And it's really good if you can give yourself permission to step out of all of those skins and just be like, oh, okay, those experiences have given me the permission to be this now, to open up to my next level of evolution. Dear Watson. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the tarot part. And I'm going to be very technical and just kind of lift you up here. So I hope you don't get too camera sick whilst I kind of do this so you can see my tarot table. Okay. So you can see that I've got 3 decks here. Okay. We've got this deck is The Legacy of the Divine from Chiro Marchetti. And this one is the Tarot of Dreams by Chiro Marchetti. I love his work. This is my favorite one. And this is the Osho Zen Tarot, which is a little bit more Zen, funnily enough, a little bit more inner with things. So what we do now is we just tune in, and we basically tune in together, and we just ask for the universe to basically collectively show us what we need to see, what our purposes are, how to rise, how to do the universe and ourselves justice this month. Okay, and then we start by, we lay one card out for each week plus one for a general. Okay, so now we're going to do it with this deck. What's interesting here is there's some very strong faces going on. We've got the Queen of Wands, who's a very strong woman in the first week, and which is interesting because we've got a solar eclipse in the first week, and the Queen of Wands is fire. Or sorry, is it lunar eclipse? I think it might be lunar eclipse actually. But then we've got the High Priestess the next week, which is the moon. So we've got the sun and the moon energy together next to each other there over the first half of the month. So that makes sense with the eclipse. And then we've got the Page of Coins here, which is all about getting grounded in the third week, unsurprisingly, after that energy of the eclipse. And then we've got the Fool, which is the first card in the Major Arcana. And Major Arcana basically means new cycle. Well, no, it doesn't. It means the journey. The Fool's journey, actually, it's his journey. The Fool is the spirit. And he goes through all of those cards there, which are the Major Arcana. And those are the steps in life to evolve. So it shows that whole new cycle starting. So this is what I love about the tarot. You can't argue with it, can you? You can, like you can with your imagination, and because it's there in front of your face. And then you've got the Four of Cups there. So that's the first time we're kind of seeing some kind of passive, behind the scenes kind of energy going on so far. But I will actually be taking this week by week, so don't worry if you don't get it. Oh my gosh, now this is why I absolutely love doing this with 3 decks, and I don't just do it from one deck, because it gives things like this a chance to happen. We've got the High Priestess and the High Priestess there next to each other. Okay, now there is 78 cards in a tarot pack. So what's that? 156, well, 1 in 78. I was going to say 2 to 156 chance of that happening, guys. And it's just happened. And there are other themes as well. Like, I don't know how much you know about the tarot. Some of you will know quite a lot. Some of you won't. But the Empress is here. And this is the Queen of Pentacles here, who is like the minor arcana version of the major arcana version of the same person as well. So I just love the synchronicity. And here as well, we've got the Page of Coins with the 10 of Coins. The pages are like aces, and the suits are like playing cards. They go from ace to 10. So actually what you have here is quite interesting in itself. It's the start and the end of a cycle, again, just before the Fool has come up there. Okay, so we will move on to the Osho Zen. Okay, so just tune in, yeah, guys? Just really take a deep breath and just be like, okay, universe, I would love to know what the rhythms are this month and how I can best ride them, do them justice, you know, evolve, help the world, help myself, help my brothers, my sisters, my friends. Okay,
So the first card we've got there is politics. Interesting, because we've got the election this week as well, haven't we? And I saw something about a fox chasing a duck down Downing Street this morning, which I thought was hilarious, because foxes are sly and tricksters, and ducks are they're good at being, you know, they're imprinted on in a way, and they're good at kind of, yeah, they're easily influenced, but they're also good at being self-sufficient. So again, that was another Facebook post. If you want to go and have a look at my wall, you will see that, and more details about that. So in the first week, we have the first week starts tomorrow, doesn't it? And then we've got the lunar eclipse on Saturday. We've got some other astrological things going on as well that I can't remember, that are on the PowerPoint. I'm not sure if I can get that up. Let me just see if I can screen share with you from here. Okay. So next. Yeah, okay. So the only thing that we've got going on that week that is significant is the full moon total lunar eclipse in Libra. Sorry. So let's have a look here. This is what I love. This is why I love the Tower of Dreams. If you can see that card there, that symbol there is Libra. Okay. So you see this, I just shuffled them. I didn't lay them out, I didn't pick them. So what we've got here is the sun eclipsing the moon in Libra. And Libra is all about the truth. Now, that's like the card for Libra in the major arcana of the tarot is justice, which is also all about the truth and the ability to be truthful with oneself. So what I feel we're going to see this week is huge truth will out moments, lots of things coming to light with the eclipse, and it just feels like anything that's not truthful, politics here, the election as well, is just going to fall away. It's not going to be allowed anymore. So this could also be situations where you've been fooling yourself, because remember, we're also micro of the macro. So what's happening in the world at large happens within us. So things where you can't keep up the facade any longer, or people can't keep it up with you either. And this can be very freeing, very liberating, very empowering, can be a little bit upsetting. But generally speaking, it's a really, really good thing, because it's only when we let down our masks and we start seeing truthfully where we are that we can transform. I have some kind of obsession about the words transformation and truth, as you might have guessed. So let's have a look at week 2 on the PowerPoint. Hopefully you can see this PowerPoint when it comes up, otherwise I'm screen sharing for nothing. Okay, so next week. So the next week we have Jupiter going direct in Leo. We have Venus entering Gemini and Mercury entering Taurus. Jupiter direct in Leo is a great feeling, and you might be feeling that already. Since December to now, it might have felt a bit heavy to get going, because Jupiter's been retrograde, and Jupiter is the planet of expansion and Leo is the planet of creation. So it's like we're getting a green light to go forward with everything that we want to create. So you should be able to feel a lighter energy. Venus enters Gemini. Again, that's quite light, can be quite superficial. So flirtations and socializing, it's really good for that, but it's not good for going too deep with things. And Mercury enters Taurus. And so our communication will, yeah, that's interesting, because Venus is quite light-hearted, and Mercury in Taurus is a little bit more considered. It's kind of a nice balance, I would say, though. So let's just come off of that. So the Jupiter and Leo thing is interesting. I know this is in the first week, but this other symbol on this card is Jupiter, and it's right next to this card, which is Leo. The Queen of Wands is ruled by Leo. So that in itself is quite interesting. Jupiter going direct, when a planet as big as that, actually, let me see if I can do this so you can see. Hello. When a planet as big as Jupiter kind of goes direct, there is a sense of things blowing up, but in a good way, you know, like I was saying. So with that and the eclipse energy that you've got here, I do think it's quite a massive time that we're having, a massive entrance into April and Easter. And it's so big, it carries on the next week as well. The High Priestess, and the High Priestess here is very strong. High Priestesses are about our subconscious, about our dark night of the soul, the darkest, deepest bits. It's everything we've just done. We've just gone on a past life journey. We've just gone down to the underworld, in a sense, which is our subconscious or our unconscious, which is what the High Priestess, who, if you know the story of Persephone, she was abducted by Hades and taken to the underworld. That's who the High Priestess is in Greek mythology. And, you know, they strike a bargain, her and Hades and Demeter, to bring her back to life up here for half of the year. So she has to get used to being in the underworld and in the above world, so to speak, and be comfortable with both. So she is in between two worlds. She's the shaman, she's the walker, she's the oracle, she's all of those psychic impressions. That's why she's ruled by the moon, in that sense, the dreams and the illusions and the shape-shifting, all of that energy is here in the week very strongly. But it's the process we've just done. Past life journeys would be shown here with this, and completion. Now this is really, really strong. Completion is the World card in the tarot. So basically the Fool is the beginning of the cycle and the World is the end of the cycle. So this is showing, look, the final piece of the puzzle. You know, I was saying those pieces of the puzzle, we have to wait until the universe is ready, and then when it's ready, it will let us know. So there's some real sense of some truthful awakenings in the next week, and the week after that, completion. And you'll have your answers, you'll have your closure. Even if you've managed to, even if it's just through doing it yourself, you'll still have it. And when you have that, then that is fantastic. So don't feel like it's going to be upsetting and I'm not going to have any closure and I'm not going to be able to move on. It's not like that at all. It's like all the answers are coming from the outside and from the inside, and it's very, very freeing and liberating. Okay, so let me try and get this PowerPoint back on. Screen share, so we see what's going on for the next time. Okay, week 3 is Pluto going retrograde and new moon in Aries and Sun in Taurus. So I'm going to try and remember that because I don't want to be flitting backwards and forwards. New moon Aries, Pluto retrograde, Sun in Taurus. And just so you know, I'll just show you week 4. Week 4 in April. Nothing significant. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I have been doing this Astro Tarot channel and it's been changing a lot, but I've been doing it for a few years now, monthly, and I've never seen a week where there's nothing significant. But I think we've had so much going on. It's like the universe has gone, I think you need a week off to kind of process this. Okay, so stopping the screen share. No more screen share. Okay, for now. And back to the cards. So I'm testing my brain, and my brain says that the sun is in Taurus, new moon in Aries, Pluto retrograde. Yes, that's right. Okay. Now, Pluto is the deep, big black hole, basically. It's death. It's Hades, what we were just talking about, you know, taking the high priestess down to the underworld. And it's in Capricorn at the moment. So quite funny, again, that's the sign there for Capricorn. And that's the sign for Mercury, which is also shifting signs that week, isn't it? If I remember correctly, it's going into, I can't know, it's the sun. Mercury was shifting signs into Taurus. Forgive me, I got that bit a little bit confused. So yes, what you've got here is Pluto going retrograde in Capricorn here. Now, Capricorn is all about the world. It's all about status. It's all about finances. And Pluto's been in Capricorn a long time now, pretty much since the time the Northern Rock disaster hit, funnily enough. And it's really kind of revolutionizing our systems. It's kind of throwing up everything that is not working. It's kind of tearing it all down and making it kind of be reborn. So, well, it's election month, I guess. It feels like there's a real strong endings and beginnings, as we've been talking about all night, really, on the outside world and the inside world. And this is even more of it. So this could also be personally things to do with new jobs or moving, or, you know, it's something about your external structure kind of breaking down, changing and reforming in some way. And the fourth week that said nothing significant in astrology kind of says different in the tarot. You've got the Fool card here, which is like, this is the beginning. This is your new cycle. It's right here. Beautiful that we've got the Empress with this, because she is Mother Earth. She is Gaia. She supplies everything. So this is saying that there's freedom and there's abundance and there's creativity and there's nurture, if we so choose to tune into that. It is there. And funnily enough, the next card there is abundance, which is the King of Pentacles, which goes with the Queen of Pentacles, which I said was the minor arcana version of the Empress. In other words, it's just saying that there's a lot of support around our environments and being able to be like the duck, I guess, that was being chased down Downing Street, self-sufficient, create our own houses, our own homes somehow. There's a real energy of freedom movement and self-sufficiency going on here, which is quite interesting. And here in the general, interestingly enough, we've got this inner voice, which is a bit moony again. And we've also got the Four of Cups there, which is like the inner voice too. So that our intuitions are strong, but it's like we're validating them because we've got a lot of earth this month as well. We've got the Queen of Coins here, minor arcana version of the Empress. It's like we're really thinking what we want to do with our lives in a very calm, peaceful, practical way. It's like we're getting very, very true with ourselves from the first week. Yeah, where we had that truthful kind of, truthfulness. And what that does is it really says, well, what do you want? It's like life is really asking us strongly, what is it you want? And you can't not face reality anymore. There is this dreaminess, but only in ways of like, how can I make that dream come true? There's no more fooling ourselves. Even though we've got the Fool here, it's a new start, a new cycle of doing things differently. That's all that means. And it's like, okay, what is it that I need to do different now? What didn't work from before? And where do I want to be? And what do I want in my life? And how am I going to make that happen? So that really ties in with what I was saying about where we were at astrologically. And that's what I love about the tarot and astrology, that they actually do that. Yeah. So that's the general. And do you have any questions? Because if you do, we have 20 minutes left just to, you might have some questions about how these energies work for you, but I would like them to be more, not really generals, because I've just done a general reading. So I don't want to see a question saying, what's coming up for me generally this month. I'd like a bit more of a direct question, if that's okay, guys. I'm just going to put my cards away and then have a look at the comments box. Okay, so where are we at? So some people are saying they've, okay, Antoinette was saying she didn't feel like she was part of the empire. So that's past life stuff. That it is resonant with this life and may be connected to the rejection of state authority that's manifested in this life as a lifelong quest. So it's coming down, it's coming through now. Excellent. I'm glad that that's happened for you. Okay, Fozzie is saying need to speak up for the self and no need to fit in anywhere. Fabulous. I'm glad you got that. That's excellent. Soraya, it taught me that I needed to release a vow that no longer serves. Excellent. Brilliant. Soraya is saying all of this resonates with how I feel at the moment. That's good to know. Thank you for sharing. Okay, Camilla's saying, can I repeat the cards because she didn't hear them? Sorry, I've gone past that now. I can't get them back out even if I wanted to. Yeah, just on the replay. We will have a replay, okay? All right. Something saying very accurate. It's been a real transformation, time and shift. Always affects my back. Oh, I hope your back gets better, Sonia. Okay, so we've got a question. How do you see my career develop after this? This is from Fozia. So I'm just being shown like a school corridor pathway. I say pathway because it just seems to split in about 6 months, which feels very predictive, but that's the way I'm being shown it. And so I'd ask you to think about, is that what you wish? Is that what you envisage? Do you want some type of split after 6 months? It feels to me like when I say split, I think although I'm seeing a fork in the road, it doesn't feel like a choice. It feels to me like you know which way you're going, and it's not the way that maybe mainstream or society might expect you to go down. Hence this kind of thing about finding your voice as a step on that path. I hope that you find that useful. Okay. Is there any more? Pippa says it's my birthday on the 19th. How will Pluto retrograde, new moon in Aries affect me? Wow, that's quite strong, isn't it? Yeah. Well, I don't think it's going to maybe affect you as strong as it has been anyway, because you've been, if you're in Aries, you've been in that cardinal grand cross with Capricorn for the last 3 years or so. So you've probably had quite a full-on last 3 years. And I would say that this is just a sense of, even though Pluto is going retrograde, so much is moving out of the grand cardinal cross now. And I feel like you'll just feel like it's a clearing at a really, really deep level, or a sense of freedom.
So yeah, the same as what I've been saying all night, but just maybe even more so for you, because it is your birthday. Happy birthday for it. Sarah says, feeling stuck, Tiffany. My house is on the market but not selling. Am I meant to stay here? No, but you're meant to release the attachment and the fear and the panic. Okay? And work with that. And I don't want to predict. I have to leave it there. All right. Thank you. Sonia says, I've had a real change in my work and the levels it's going to. How do you see this massive expectation? Well, where's the expectation from? And why is there so much emphasis on the expectation? Those are the questions that are coming into my head. And it feels like they're coming into my head from your guides, really. I keep being shown like a space bubble. It's like out of Avatar or one of those films. It feels really scientific, and it's like got a glass roof, and there's loads of computers, and there's loads of politics and loads of plans and loads of quite, oh yes, it's exciting, and it feels really important, and it feels really purposeful to me. So yeah, is that enough? I hope so, because that's what I've got, and I'm not going to push for more. Okay. Evelyn says, I have made contact in Korea to hopefully restart something I had to stop for a couple of months. I feel it's time to begin again. Do you agree? It's now right for me. Thank you for the card reading and the rest of this course. Really enjoyed it. Oh, that's lovely to hear. What I get for you, Evelyn, is there was never any time to drop it, but there is time to drop the expectation that it is anything that it is other than what it is at any time that it is. I do feel like this is something that's going to build for you more and more and more over time, and that it's any expectations or pictures that you have of how it should look, when it should look, by this stage it should look like this, or that stage it should look like that, that is more the issue here. So it's like we were saying about honoring the present. It's like honor the present. It is a present. Honor that for how it wants to grow. It's like it's showing me a plant, and it's like, yes, you can nurture the plant, and obviously that keeps it alive, but it grows the way it wants to grow. So something here about just keeping at that nurture and just seeing how it grows in its own time. It is a slow start. It's not, it might be something that's quite slow for 2 or 3 years, I think, but when it really blossoms, it's really something. That's what I'm feeling anyway. Thank you. So this one is a non, and it says, hi Tiffany, my question, I'm on a creative journey. How to help the process along this month with the energies around? Is there anything I can do to help it? Now, this is really interesting because I'm not sure if it's what you expect. What I'm seeing, it's quite funny actually. I'm seeing you in your living room doing lots of yeah, there's like, it's like you stood with your legs apart, and it's like a cross between yoga and, oh no, okay, yoga, it is yoga, but it's not the kind of slow breath yoga. It's more kundalini and breath of fire. So this is talking about your own energetic blocks, I think, there, and the need to really make sure that your own self, your own mind, body, spirit is really clear in order for the creation to really flow through. So yeah, release the outside stuff, come into the inside. That's what I'm getting anyway. Thank you. Okay, so Camilla is asking about relationship with the spiritual teacher. Will they reconnect or will they part ways? I am feeling that there is some kind of, it's like this, it's like I'm being shown this, and it feels as if there's a need for that to happen. There's something here about your space and your empowerment, and that your path is differing to their path, and I feel that there is nothing wrong with that at all. I feel as if even if it looks like there is now, it's not really, and I feel like over time there will be an even more beautiful peace between you and reconnection, but never in the way that it's been, because there's a beautiful blossoming of your soul from what I can see, and it needs space to find itself from what I can see there. So I hope that is useful. Thank you. So Melanie says, is it saying anything about my finances? Well, I'm kind of seeing you stood even above knees in gold. I don't know if that's enough. There's a lot of energy around manifestation and abundance this month, and it's already happened. I think there's really been a shift this last week since the eclipse, and I just think this is going to get stronger with the eclipse on the weekend and all the other things that are going on, and all the Empress energy, all the coins that came out in the reading, the ace, the 10, the king, the page, no, sorry, the page was the ace, the Empress, the Queen. You know, there's a lot of earth energy, which is pentacle energy, which is something tangible. So I actually feel like it's quite easy. I actually feel like it's kind of there, and that it's about just blossoming and nurturing and feeling the flow. Again, like a plant is just to do that, just to concentrate on what you've got and nurture that. So it's about the focus on what you have rather than what else can you do. All right, I hope that's useful for you. Sarah says, hi Tiffany, hello. How do you see a relationship between me and the guy I've met last summer evolve from now on? Thank you. Is there distance between you two? Because I keep getting a feeling of traveling and going backwards and forwards. I do think there is something about being in the same country. I don't think you are at the moment. It feels, I don't know if I'm off track here, but I've just got to say what I've got to say. It feels to me like there's quite a bit of toing and froing, and it feels to me like him finally coming to be with you. Not that far down the line, 6 months maybe. I don't want to get too predictive, because I do believe that predictions make us take the eye off the ball, and then it doesn't happen. So yes, predictions do happen sometimes, but it's like anything in life, there is a strength. Like, so if I really feel something, I will say it, because it's like a feeling of it being guaranteed. But with this one, it's like, just enjoy the present and open to it. It feels like a lovely relationship, and before you know it, hey presto. So yeah, I hope that helps. We've got 5 more minutes, guys, and so Amy is the last. No, Camilla is the last one, and she's just saying thank you. So thank you very much, Camilla. Now I'm closing down the comments. I'm not going to be reading any more after that. Okay. So no more. Thank you. Soraya says, there are changes going on in work. How will this manifest for me? Will there be new opportunities or will status quo remain? Status quo remain is what is coming through here. I think in terms of the general that came through, there was something here about truth. And the message that's coming through is, are you in your truth with your work, Soraya? Because I think the universe is going to be kind of asking you that quite strongly this month. So yeah, that's the message that's coming through. It's a bit different to the question you asked, but I have to give what I've got because that's all I've got to give. Okay. Amy says, Jupiter in Leo retrograding has been intense, being a Leo myself. Yeah, I know that one too. I'm glad it's now time to use the tools to progress forward, feeling the eclipse energy very strongly, little draining. Maybe tonight is the night to ground myself, allow myself to use the energy rather than it weigh me down. Very lovely reading. Oh, bless you, Amy. Yeah, release it. You know, just yeah, maybe get a body massage or something like that. I had a Thai yoga massage today. It was painful, but incredible. And I'm a Leo too, so yeah, it's been tough 4 months or so, but it's about releasing it all now, as it is for everything. Linda says, moving abroad, is this right? High priest suggests using intuition. Gemini sun with Taurus rising, Pisces moon. Wow. Really is a big time for you then, Linda, isn't it? Moving abroad, is this right? And if you're doing it, I mean, I don't understand if you're asking me, like, if you want to do it or you are doing it. I mean, if you are doing it, then I'm not going to say that it's wrong because you're doing it. And that's just my philosophy. If something is being done, then there is no wrong path. It's happening for a reason. So I don't really know how to answer that one, Linda. Sounds like you've got quite a strong time going on at the moment. It's very much your time. The next 2 or 3 months do feel like they're quite transformative. And I guess there's nothing more transformative on the outside world than moving abroad in that sense. So yes, in that sense, it feels like a good time, if that's what you're asking me. Can I ask same question, Folia, please? This is the burning question for me. I had a strong sense all my life that my extreme challenges contained purpose, was in tune with spirit from an early age, and the last 3 years have amped up this certainty that I have purpose to fulfill. But the more I ask the question, the further the answer goes from me. Do I feel that I'm in the time frame for me to materialize? If I could just see it clearly. Yeah. Pieces, puzzle, universal, timing, Antoinette. It'll come when it will come. It won't come when you're trying to make it come. The best thing you can do, switch off trying to think about it and just go and have some fun and explore and leave it alone. And before you know it, then you'll have it. All right? Sonia says it's a big arena type thing and public speaking. Well, congratulations. It feels like the sky is the limit for you, Sonia, because that's really what I was getting with this space bubble thing. Fozia says, thank you. I think I do get it. I'm going on a magnified healing course soon. I wonder. Oh, I've done magnified healing. It's lovely. Threefold flame and violet flame as well. It's gorgeous. I wonder who you're doing that with. Zario says, hello, Tiff. Do you feel improvements in my finances work the next few months? It feels all over the place, Rosario. It feels like you're having to do a bit here, a bit there, and a bit here. It feels like, yes, there's progress, but it's slow. So it's like, rather than push at it, the process is of trust and keeping all of those balls in the air. It's not an easy time for you, sweetheart. It's like the Two of Pentacles. It's like having to keep everything all up in the air. So yeah, it's like you can't take your eyes off of the ball, but you'll get there. It doesn't stay like the Two of Pentacles forever. So it does feel like there is progress, and it does feel like it doesn't slip backwards. It's slow but steady, I think is the way to say it. Thank you. Okay. Jackie says, I've been looking for a promotion at my work or a new job, but frustrated because things are moving slowly. Am I likely to find resolution soon? I think the best thing is to stop for a little while, not for long. I do feel like there is something here about April that is great for you. So it's just like completely switch off from even thinking about it for maybe just a few days or a week. And hopefully that will shift. Just really give yourself permission to not even entertain it for a week and see what happens. Okay. Natasha says, resonates where I feel I am right now. Will this closure open up to a renewed relationship or close up the past, leaving me open to a new partner? Doesn't feel so black and white for you, Natasha, from what I'm feeling here. It feels to me like there is plenty of grey areas in between. There's quite an interesting dialogue of communication coming up that feels like it might be a bit confusing, and there's a bit more of a process going on. It doesn't feel over, it doesn't feel ended, but it doesn't feel like it's just going to suddenly all kind of be straightforward either, from what I'm getting here. And so it feels like the best practice here is to just be okay with that, the way it is, like the grey areas, and just honour the process and the journey that is happening there. Thank you. Will this Aries man be worth the love relived, or will it end up with this battle? Don't want either of us to hurt, both been through too much. Oh. He doesn't feel very Aries to me. You feel like the stronger one in the relationship. I don't think he knows how to communicate with you. I think the problem here is communication, and that is what is needing to be worked on before any chance of a successful relationship. So it feels to me like the key is not to rushing in here, and it's not even to have the perspective of it being a relationship. It's more like, yes, the healing and the friendship are the two key pointers here to really build the values on for the communication to come through. Because if there's an expectation on there being a relationship, with that, it's going to make the communication even harder. I hope that that is helpful for you. Okay, so there is more questions, but I'm so sorry, guys, because it's we've run over 5 minutes, and I did say that I was closing for the questions after Camilla, who was saying thank you. So some of you have said thank you very much for joining me live. I mean, I'll be talking to myself like a nutter. No comment. And you got some nice comments here that I will look through. And yeah, it's just really nice to have you here. Thank you for being here, guys. Just to wrap up, I am just going to do some screen share now, and just kind of recap on what this is about, okay, for you, for what we've been doing tonight. Okay, so summary for success is to aim to have a successful life. We are all aiming to have a successful life, right? We all want to evolve and be the best we can be on all levels. So in order to have a successful life, the objective is to understand the past so that we can learn from it, honor the present, which means really just be grateful. The gratitude practice is great there, and open to the future. Okay, so the tools to do that are amazing for doing that, from what I know. There's plenty of other tools that are also amazing for it, but the ones that I work with and that I find amazing for it, for the past, is past life regression, obviously, tarot, astrology, psychotherapy, and counseling. For the present, it's meditation, yoga, healing, gratitude, so a gratitude diary, astrology, tarot, and past life regression. Astrology, tarot, and past life regression finds its way into everything I do. Future is gratitude, coaching, healing, affirmations, astrology, tarot, and past life regression. Okay, so to your next steps for opening to the future. So after this webinar, maybe, you know, as soon as we get off here, you could create an affirmation from what you have learned tonight. So write it out like a little mantra from what you learned from your past life regression, for instance, or from if you got a reading. And then spend 5 minutes in quiet reflection of all you are grateful for now, releasing all that is gone and stating to the universe that you are open to the new. And the third thing is to apply for a transformational breakthrough session. So if you haven't applied for this yet and you haven't had one in the last 3 months or so, you can have a transformational breakthrough session with me for free if your application is successful. So I am going to just see if I can pop this up for you now. Hi. This pop-ins box I never really understand or get, so it might not work. Let's see. It's telling me that the offer is displayed, so hopefully you guys can see it and you can click it, hopefully, as well, and it will lead you to the page to apply for a transformational breakthrough session. But if it doesn't, then don't worry, because you'll get it in the replay email as well. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining me and honoring this special transit we have at the moment of like really closing one door and allowing ourselves, just being free to give ourselves permission to be the best that we can be. So I wish you all the best for your clarity, your insight, and all the amazingness that's within you to feel free enough to go out there now and make that manifest. Thank you very much for joining me. Take care for now. Bye-bye.